Well, I'm down here at the bottom of our property next to the river, and this is from Hurricane Fred. So that was 4 years ago, and this is what's left of an RV, but we pulled 5 or 6 RVs out of here, and we've cleaned on this and cleaned on this because the federal government will do some of the river, I guess, and then, but it took them 2 years to get there. The rest is left to you, and they'll only go like 30 foot up the bank. And then there's other outfits that come and say, hey, we'll do it, and we're paid by the federal government to do it, and then they don't. But you can see all the sheet metal and crap, but it is still, to me, just absolutely beautiful to be able to live here. And I've got this little trail cut in after the flood, but I haven't been down here in a while. It lost gobs of trees. Before, this was just full of trees. Big hardwoods and pine, poplar. But I want to show you one of my favorite. Look at this, just fell. That fell just in the last windstorm. That wasn't out here before. That old pine tree, that's at least 60, 80 feet of a pine. So there must be a half of a pine up in the air, because here, let me get out and look. Yeah, look at this. So see that pine right there? Look at this. Broke out the top, and they're still at least 50 feet. No less than 50 feet. Goes all the way out into the river. So I wanted to drive out here to the end. This is that end of that tree. And if you look, I don't know if you can see this. Look at that, way up there, way over there is the top of that tree. We're a good 60 feet from it. So that was a huge white pine. And I haven't seen that before, because all this was clean. We had this where you could ride through it and then go up that way and up back to the house. This is the Pigeon River. I guess it's called the Little Pigeon, but it wasn't so little twice now. But so that bridge down there, way down there, you can't see it till I move my finger, but that bridge just got replaced 4 years after the flood, so those people could finally get out. There was a guy with an RV up there and hadn't been able to leave because there was no way out. So our bridge took 4 years. We went through 3 people's properties and a cow pasture, up a mountain, down a mountain, through a holler, and then across the creek to get to the house for 4 years. Not the end of the world. We didn't lose our lives, and it's all replaceable stuff, but it's just amazing to me that how slow the system is. Even though you pay taxes, even though you buy flood insurance, you know, flood insurance is only available through FEMA, and you're required to have it. And at least here, we're required to have it. And our house had never been flooded. This is all part of our mountain. And this was an old railroad through here, all the way from, well, it didn't start here. That's just where I'm starting it. And it goes way down. It goes, and they logged through here in the 50s. And the railroad went through here. But I'd love to see pictures of that. I haven't found any online or anything. But you can see the crash that tree made. I mean, the top broke out. That's the top. And then the rest of it still came out here to the river without the top. So that was a ginormous tree. Maybe, well, look at this one real quick. Look how tall this is. I bet it's got to be a minimum of 100 feet. But I love this area out here. I have a wildlife cam out here, and we get elk on it. We get bears, deer. I've had a bobcat about 4 or 5 times, and lots of coyotes, lots of raccoons. But it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, peaceful, serene. Even with all the crap, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. And I think that's what they count on, to be honest. Look, I'm standing down here by the river, okay? I'm that close to the river. And then you look, there's the end of the tree, and that's just a piece that came out, which goes up there. here's the end of the where it broke off again against those trees. And look, I want you to look up here all the way back there, that break off where it fell. So I'm still here. Here's that tree that fell. I'm down here by the edge of the river, and look at how much it washed out. Hopefully you can get an idea. Washed out that whole bank right there. They filled this because it took out the road up there, and that's the only way into here. That's a highway, and our property goes up to the edge. This is the only road in North Carolina that doesn't have a right-of-way. There's no right-of-way. So you could build your fence on the road if you wanted, and there's no right-of-way, you know, to the edge of the pavement. Crazy rules, but nobody's going to do that because you're going to have your fence tore up by a bunch of people's mirrors. But Tasha and I have spent 4 years cleaning debris out of here. We have hauled over 140-yard dumpsters of debris, and it's still not done. And I mean, you can see right there, metal. And every time it rains, more metal shows up. There's more metal right there. More right over right there. Just incredible. But man, do I love this place. And I know I'm back and forth. I sound like I'm bipolar. I'm kind of am. The sun's going down, but this river is like therapy. To sit out here and not hear anybody. Now there's homes over here, across there. And then up this way, there's nothing. It goes to the national park. And so our property goes way up that way and around. It's just beautiful. Well, I say it's our property. It's ours and the bank's. So there's so much debris though that we have to get cleaned up. People's houses came through here, RVs. It was amazing. And Fred and then Helene, you know, did more damage. But Helene, for us, was not as bad, even though it was horrible. It was nowhere near what Fred did. I wasn't going to film this, but I'm turning around. That's where the tree is. And I'm going to try to go across here. I got to miss these boards, like that board right there with nails sticking out. I used to have a trail through here that I could go. Well, there's one of the trails. I want you to look how big that boulder is. Isn't that beautiful? That boulder's at least 10 feet tall. And it's hard to tell from the picture, I know. But I have caught trout right below it there. Right in there. Right in there. There's a hole. The river moved. It was way over there against the road. And they came in and moved all these rocks for a guy, but he got on my property and moved my land to make him more land. But that's a story for another time. So we just came up, it didn't sound like much, but we just came up like 9 feet. Just up that little bank. And this is where that guy moved all, he moved, no permission, no nothing. Got in there with an excavator and moved all my property, my dirt over there for him, and put the river here. That's an ongoing deal, and I'll share with you later once I know more. But if you look across here, you'll see all the debris. And I know that debris looks little, like you think, oh, that's little. No, that's a big fender off of an RV. That over there is a bathroom thing off an RV. I was down here yesterday and saw that. last windstorm we had, an ice storm a couple weeks ago, knocked down all these trees, these dead trees. And so I haven't been through here since, so I don't know if I can, not this far up. I mean, look at all the aluminum it exposed. It exposed so much stuff. So I'm kind of just rednecking my way through here. I don't know if it's rednecking or hillbillying or what it is, because normally my trail went along the river down there all the way back to the house. Well, I can't get over there now because there's 4 or 5 trees down, big trees. So I'm gonna try to go through here. I haven't been through here yet.